I'm Kirsten from Henthorne Farm Flowers, and this weekend Flower Farmers are having a really exciting weekend because our big weekender has gone live. So if you go to www.flowerfarmersbigweekend.co.uk, you'll see a whole lineup of video tours and tutorials from flower farmers all over the UK. It's been absolutely fabulous. So I just thought I'd jump on the bandwagon and do a little video for you. So this morning I'm going to make a really simple little flower crown, just what I would call a little Demi crown, just a little half section to look quite cute on the side of somebody's head. And I'm going to use fresh flowers, but flowers that are particularly good for drying. So the flower crown will be fresh, but it will preserve itself and last for a long time. So to start off with, I'm going to use a pipe cleaner, and you just want to make a little loop by twisting the end to make a little loop so that you can tie a piece of ribbon through it to attach it to your hair. Or if you want something a little bit more discreet, you could just use a little hairpin Kirby grip. So I've got my two little loops on there, and I've got some florist paper tape that I'm going to use to bind my flowers on. So I've got a little selection here. These are helichrysum or straw flowers. These are fresh at the minute, they're still on their stems, so it makes them a bit easier to work with, but they're all beautifully dry and a lovely selection of corally colours. And I've got some limonium statis here. This is another type of limonium. It's called something like swirolii or rat's tail limonium. And this is another type, sea lavender, this one. And then I've got some thlasby, which is a nice bit of foliage, and I've just picked a little bit of fresh eucalyptus. Now, you don't usually use eucalyptus this early, so potentially that's not going to be hardy enough, but it does dry out nicely, so we'll give it a go. So I'm just going to start by attaching the tape and just twizzling, and it's on about a 45-degree angle, and I keep a bit of tension on and turning with my right hand and just holding the tape straight and just twizzle, and as you twizzle it becomes self-adhesive and you can just cover the tape, cover the pipe cleaner to give you a nice base to attach to. So that's covered there. And now for some flowers. So just spine round a couple of times. Just going to trim that excess bit of stem off there. And I'm not going to think too much about it really, I'm just going to go with it. Cut some nice little sprigs. We'll use these bits as individual bits. Oh, I didn't need to do that. Let's leave those on the stems, be easier. I do have some that if you cut them off like this while they're fresh, you can insert a wire into the base, and then as it dries, the wire gets caught fast onto the flower, so they don't need gluing or anything, and then you've got a nice wire which you can use to manipulate into wreaths and things. These also glue really well onto things using the Oasis cold glue. That's another good thing to do. So what you want to do is lay your plant material in a little bundle. So I'm just going to gather 2 or 3 little bits into a little bunch, and I'm putting those just slightly to the right of the first section. I'm just going to secure it round with the tape a couple of times. And once it's secure, if you've got any bulky stems, you can trim them off. So we'll try a straw flowering next. I'm leaving my tape attached just to make it easier, but you can keep taking it off and reattaching it if you prefer. Whatever's easiest for you. So this is going to be quite a dainty little flower crown. It would be nice for a young lady or a child. So I'm just twizzling and trimming off as I go. Okay. So we'll add another straw flower in there now. So it's important to keep going in the same direction. Keep that tape nice and taut. Give it a little stretch as you go. Okay, I'm just working quite randomly. So with these flower crowns, it's nice to kind of start off quite thin, get thicker, and then taper it back down again so you've got a natural graduation. So I do grow British flowers here in my cutting garden, which is just in my home. I've only got a very small plot made into 12 raised beds, and I grow flowers mainly to sell direct to my customers who come and buy beautiful mixed bouquets. This is one I've just made this morning as an anniversary present for someone. I also run workshops from my studio, and I do weddings and funerals as well, which is an area that I'm really wanting to develop more, because I think especially if you're making a tribute for someone who really loved gardening, to be able to pick really, you know, their favourite flowers from the garden, or maybe even go into the person's own garden and get flowers to use to make a really, really personal tribute. I think there's nothing nicer than that, and it's just a really special, lovely thing to do for somebody. You don't have to have, you know, the traditional kind of mum and dad and chrysanthemums if you want something a bit more natural and organic and pretty and natural. I don't like using floral foam. I avoid that. It's very toxic to the environment and breaks down into lots of tiny micro plastics, which we all know now are very harmful if it gets into the watercourse. And really, by not using it, you free yourself up to make much looser, freer, more pretty designs, I feel. Oasis can be quite rigid. Okay, so let's add a little bit of ribbon. So I'm just going to tie that through the loop that I made. One. Where's my loop gone? Buried. Okay, shall we try it on? What do you think? So obviously I've made that very quickly. Take your time.